Good morning. It is May 10th, the day before Mother's Day, and my name is Rudy Knapp. This is Legacy Building a Kingdom, and I wanted to start off with just saying Happy Mother's Day to all those great mothers that are out there. I believe that Mother's Day is an important holiday. I believe that everyone should recognize the work and the importance of mothers in our lives. I think it makes our world run, gives everybody the chance to learn a little bit about the caring side and using our hearts and the empathetic side of who we are, that nurturing side that comes from your mothers. I believe there's a running joke with men where we would say that first comes Jesus and Christmas and Easter, and then comes mothers. So those are the holidays in order. Pretty interesting because Father's Day is far down the list, but it's probably rightfully so. Fathers are very important and influential, but mothers are definitely the reason this world runs. So I just want to say Happy Mother's Day to those amazing women out there who have done so much for their children. I know some really, really, really amazing women when it comes to being mothers, and I can think of specific people right now and how much they have influenced their children's lives and how lucky those children are. First and foremost, my ex-wife, probably one of the greatest women when it comes to being a mother. My kids are probably the luckiest that I've ever seen. And if they're listening, they should understand that. They should also understand how important their mother has been to the growth of who they are as people. I like to say that I have some influence in that as well, but I also think that, we are nowhere without her when it comes to parenting. So again, Happy Mother's Day to her. I would like to say Happy Mother's Day to my mother. Very difficult situation with her, considering her state right now. She has dementia. She's pretty much doesn't know who I am, and that's a really, really difficult task to deal with on a daily basis. So I wish she would understand. I wish I could talk to her, and I wish I could tell her how important she is to me and how important it is for me to recognize, where I come from and the influences I've had and how her life has impacted my life and how raising me and then also seeing her situation has really adjusted who I am as a person and how I live my life. So again, Happy Mother's Day to my mother, to my grandmothers. They were amazing women. I got a chance to observe that growing up. I also know the stories and the things that I hear from. So definitely some of the women that I've met throughout my life, I just want to say Happy Mother's Day because I think that is very, very much deserved for them to have a day, let alone every day. And I think any children out there should always be appreciative of their mother, understanding that it's pure love in their heart. We'll talk a little bit about fathers on Father's Day, but I think that mothers, they definitely deserve a day to be pampered and treated right and honored because for sure they are the reason that all men and women are successful in life. So going on from that, I just want to I got a lot of thoughts today, a lot of thoughts of the day. So I'm going to try to squeeze in a few things here, but I want to piggyback a little bit off of last week when I discussed like celebration of life. And so, when we say Happy Mother's Day, we are celebrating mothers and their lives and how they influenced us. And it's just leads right into this coming from celebration of life when people have passed in our life. And I talked about my brother Rob, and I think that everyone, and I encourage everyone to go forward and celebrate those people that have passed away by just having conversation about them, talking about them and what their lives meant to them and how influential they were and stories about them and just funny things and keep their memory alive and continue to do that. We honor this by having conversation and discussing that influence. But I also believe that, we honor people by people that are living and celebration of life with people that are living that are important to us as well. So we do that with acting the right way, using our morals, having respect. Think about your mother for a second. When you got in trouble, it wasn't about what you did. It was about the disappointment. This is going to lead into some parenting conversation, but the idea is when you are a parent, and you're a mother and you're a father, you are going to have an influence on your children. And if you do it right, and sorry to say that, but if you do it right, your children should have a disappointment if they are morally making a wrong decision. If they're doing something wrong and they know better. If you know better, you do better. That's what it's always said. If you know better, you do better. And so the concept of children being disappointed or worried that their parents are disappointed, I should say, that's what drives them to do the right thing. I think that works in parenting. I think it works when it comes to loved ones and respect, even teachers. When a student feels that they're disappointing their teacher, they want to do better. They want to turn in their work and they want to make sure that they're doing their best effort. And, you know, we can go on and on and on, but those mothers, they had a way. They really did. They had a way to make you feel like, oh no, my mom is disappointed. And it's just an amazing attribute to trying to get your children to learn right from wrong and to actually make a smart choice and smart decision. I could tell in my own children, like if mom is disappointed, they're in tears. And so uh, it's a great power to have, but it's also a mindset that, yeah, they expect a lot from you. They're your mother. So you treat them with respect. You stand up for your mother. You make sure that your mother is honored. And you do that by acting right, by making the right decision, by doing what she's asking you to do. And you never have that conversation where you talk back and you might get that wooden spoon like my mom used to give. Believe me, my sister knows all about that. She caught that wooden spoon a lot until we turned into a plastic spoon. But, it's just a little reminder of who's in charge. And so I always respect my mom for that, to make sure that she's holding accountability. I don't believe in beating or anything like that, but I also believe you're still a parent and children still have to learn and they have to listen. And, it was a way in our house that was just a little smack from a wooden spoon. And I always found it hilarious because I can remember some times where my sister's getting chased around the basement by my mom, and it's just fun. Not me, because I was a perfect kid, but just kidding. I did not get in trouble very often, but it was nice to watch my brother and sister get in trouble a lot. That was always cool. In any case, again, honoring those people, celebration of life. Happy Mother's Day. I do have some other things that I would like to have conversation about, but I'm going to save that for another thought of the day. I'm going to leave it with, please, whoever's out there, go, if you're listening to this, go to your mother, go to a gravesite if your mother's no longer here. Go to God, find a way to pray and talk to your mother. And, as I kind of make my way to go visit my mom, have a conversation, even if you don't know if they're listening or not, really believe that they can hear you and pour your heart out and how important they are. Hopefully in person, hopefully you still have your mother and you can lean on her like you have probably throughout your entire life. And even if your relationship's not so great, give in for a day, have a conversation, go talk to them. I know there are broken relationships and I know specific people that have that. And I know that's harsh, but if you can't talk to your mother, talk to your wife, tell her how amazing she is as a mother. Talk to your grandmother, talk to your aunts, talk to your, whoever that is a mother. Have a conversation, but give back today. Especially you men out there, give back. Show your appreciation, take a step forward, understand that this world does not run without those mothers and what they do for us on a daily basis. So I'm going to leave you with that. If you are a mother, you are an influence. And I appreciate that. And I'm going to say Happy Mother's Day one more time to everyone out there. I hope that you all have a great day. Spend that time tomorrow. Pamper them, honor them, show them how lucky you are. Signing off.